pretty true. You are pretty right. Let's go ahead and get ready for our teams. It sounds like the Zealots and, of course, Leftovers are ready to go. Here they are weighing in on the game.
I think the Leftovers is a team of a very high potential of the players, but all they needed to grow as a team is a top-tier tank. And I think my experience from Zealots is something which made me a very strong tank and a very strong addition to the team. So our first matchup is against Zealots. Zealots is my past team, and I spent a lot of time, especially with both Shad and Zamani. Since they lost at main drafter and shot caller, the team can be a pretty new team in the scene because drafter and shot caller are very important persons in the team. So I don't know what to expect from them. We know that Quackniix has the experience to lead a team to the top from Fnatic, so they can be really scary. But on the other hand, I have the knowledge about the past teammates, which I'm gonna use in this match.
Our team atmosphere in Zealots is pretty good now. I think we all are players that like to play with each other and have a good or positive mindset. The biggest change for us right now is just having Quackniix on the team, where he is just a really big main shot caller, and he talks a lot about strategy and his game plans, which he didn't really have before. Like before, we were kind of splitting our shot calling, but now Quackniix is main shot calling and trying to coordinate things. I don't know really much about Leftovers right now, but last season they were still a really scary team to play against. You never know what you could really expect. They showed some really good games, they just had a really hard time closing out games. So if they actually start to close out games now, they could be a tough opponent for sure again as well this season.
I think one of my favorite things from the MSB was actually seeing Quack and interacting with him a little bit at the midseason brawl. It seemed like a weight had been taken off his shoulders.
Yeah.
He was going through a phase where, you know, he was going through some rough times, and now he feels very comfortable. He mentioned that he's just happy to continue playing, and this is actually a change that he really wanted / needed.
Yeah, exactly. He has talked a lot on his personal Twitter in particular about how there was a lot of pressure on him after 2017, even towards the end of 2017. That definitely had a huge impact on his personal life, on the way that he approached games, and that it was an issue that caused him to also underperform.
Yeah.
It basically paralyzed him a little bit when it came to his playstyle and the way he approached the game. And now that that the change was made, and him now transitioning from Fnatic over to Zealots, that all of a sudden this is a new beginning for him, where he has found a new drive and hype for it. So that's something that can come back into this. The one thing I take away from that little interview and the pictures that we saw is that he should never, ever find himself in a physical fight, though. I mean, oh my god, dude.
Just lay it out there, Calor.
Dude, like that form, I'm just like, oh, I'm not so sure about that.
See, he's got some movement though. We can work on the form a little bit. He's got the hops left and
Yeah,
right,
the
left and
elbows
right.
all to the side, playing the chicken here.
You don't need to protect your ribs. Those are overrated. Let's go ahead and talk about the battleground here as we get ready for game number 1 in this best of 5 series. Infernal Shrines will be the map. Zealots with the pick, meaning that first pick will head over to the Leftovers.
This is actually a really interesting pairing for the early start. We talked a lot about the luck of the draw when you're heading into a new phase, into a new season, and this is very dominant in this series, because what we have right now is that both of these teams have, of course, ambitions to go to an offline event, but the least thing that they want to do is dodge the Crucible. It's more so important for the Leftovers, who found themselves in that position the last time, but we've seen towards the end of Phase 1 in 2018 how they started to really come into their own, how they started to perform a lot stronger. So now they can contest these middle ranks for sure. Zealots, on the other hand, they are a team that made it, first of all, to the Western Clash, but now we have a huge change, of course, with especially the shot calling changing from ADRD over to Quackniix. And it's a massive change that forces them to adapt a lot more than other teams, where simply one player that, for example, just has to perform but doesn't have to call was changed out. So I'm pretty sure that from the Zealots' perspective, they would rather have faced an opponent that is maybe stronger, where they are supposed to maybe lose, maybe like Dignitas, where it gives them a little bit more time to just find that rhythm with
Sure.
the shot caller and find like the way how to present themselves there. So this is going to make for a super interesting series in my opinion.
Well, they will have to quickly iron things out, that's for sure, as we are now starting the game here. Hanzo has been banned out, Tracer banned out here for the Zealots. Now, we've been talking about Quacks and him being on the roster, but don't forget about the other roster changers too. Robodoba, now here for the Zealots, going to be playing tank. Had a lot of moments where he was doing very well on Garrosh. ETC was a good follow-up for him as well when he was on a Diamond skin. But over on the Leftovers here, we've got Mopsio. Mopsio's coming in here, and he has been a pretty vocal tank player, and he's one that really enjoys shot calling. So my curiosity is, will the team follow up behind him? Will they have that chemistry that you're looking for? Because I do feel like Lava was someone that was really coming into his own here for this team last year.
But there's also now a bit of a grudge element too, similar
True.
to what we've seen in the previous series, where you have Splendor now playing for the opponent's team as Liquid was facing off against the Monkeys. So now you have Mopsio facing off against his old teammates. And the interesting part is also that in the draft, especially in the bans here, we immediately see some of the things reflected that we highlighted in the last phase of 2018, where DAB on Tracer performs incredibly well. He's definitely one of those players that surprised a lot of people when he came into the competitive scene, and he's addressed right there with the Tracer ban, taking that away against him, and now also having Blaze banned out, so Leftovers was a very, very strong pick here already for Infernal Shrines, and that gives Zealots at least a bit of a pause for now.
I'm also kind of curious to see how Quack performs here. Will we stay to the traditional pickups that he's had in the past, you know, moving into the Genjis, Greymanes, Falstads, Cassia, or will we have his hero pool kind of open up a little bit? So far, we got the Genji already opened up here. There's something that Chris can also play, so you don't have to really kind of put that on there. There's some overlap between these players. But Dehaka and Genji as our opener, again, even in the first phase, Malfurion making it to that third and fourth pickup.
Yep. The interesting part also with the entire drafting is that now with... this is the interesting thing to me. It's not only the shot calling within the game itself, where you have a lot of the macro calls coming from Quack, and he will definitely have a different approach than the previous leaders of the team. But at the same time, you now also have a different approach to the draft itself. And Quack is, of course, an incredibly smart guy when it comes to Heroes of the Storm. But how will the team adapt to that new style? Because that synergy is something that oftentimes has to develop over time.
Phoenix and Deckard picked up. Going to be able to have the ability to kite away. With it being Infernal Shrines too, you could also, if you need to, put Phoenix in a position to where he can split alongside Blaze, so you can kind of open up the map. One of the things that we're seeing a little bit more on Infernal Shrines is that first Punisher, you just kind of give it away. If you realize your opponents want a little bit more, you just go back, defend, especially with the changes to experience lately. Feel free to give up that wall and defend perfectly, and Leftovers already set themselves up to be able to have that option in case Zealots do intend to draft to be able to grab the Shrines.
And once again, also, Nolan here, it's so nice to have HGC back, and I can only echo that.
Same.
It was only 2-3 weeks since the mid-season brawl's over, but I already got bored, and I was just like, I need the HGC back.
It's been 7 weeks since we've been at this desk.
Okay,
7 weeks!
But we've been in Sweden, we had at least, you know,
Yeah.
competitive heroes, and then I come back, I'm back in the US, and I'm like, there's no games tomorrow. No games today. I'm a sad panda. We need this back, and now we finally do. And we started off with a great series already, and now we're looking at another one with Garrosh banned out by the Zealots in this case. So no Garrosh for Robodoba, and Malfurion taken away finally. Definitely lower in priority than expected, but finally addressed.
So we'll be looking for a main tank pretty soon here for Zealots. Kind of curious to see what Robodoba's going to be moving into.
I think Johanna again
Yeah.
would be a good choice here.
He did dabble a little bit in Diablo as well, which I think can be pretty good on this battleground too.
Yeah.
Which is something that you can move into. It also has that dive able. If Genji wants to move in, they can follow up on those shot calls.
I think personally I would really prefer Johanna to be taken here, but you are absolutely right. Diablo, this is one of his best battlegrounds, so he can definitely be taken here as a choice. We've seen the rise of Muradin as well, so there are definitely tanks
True.
available that still fit that build. And they go for Muradin in this setup, so they have now a Stormbolt set up for not only Greymane for the damage output, but also a tongue on the side of the Hardcore and Isolation to be used. Gives Johanna as a potential hero over to Leftovers, and this is actually a hero that especially Mopsio really likes to play.
Yeah. He showed off a lot of the Johanna before he started to move into the Garrosh. He had to convince his team to do so. That was a storyline for them. He played a lot of Johanna and ETC to start out. Any other pickups that we would get instead of the Johanna? I don't think so. Johanna really fits here.
No,
Going good?
I think it depends now also on what the extra damage is going to... I would say Johanna would be my personal expectation of what they're going to take here. The question then remains what's going to be the next damage dealer. And we could definitely see a mage here, which brings us back to Jaina, Li Ming, and maybe even Gul'dan, depending on how they are trying to run this. We've seen leftovers with Gul'dan in the past, and it could actually work really well when they're going up against Genji or against Greymane, once the two of them commit deep into the opponent's backline.
Well, 5 seconds and counting, we'll find out. It's going to be my Evan Diablo, actually.
Going a completely different way here.
They want to force fights.
Yeah, they definitely do. A lot more aggressive than what I expected. And then Abathur as the last pick for the Zealots. I'm already a happy panda. I mean, looking at these drafts and I already like what I'm seeing.
We got that soul support Abathur coming in here. Gonna be bringing up that Carapace build and make sure you do have the heals coming in. A lot of hopping around.
Yeah, and that keeps us immediately in a setup where the Haka has a lot of self-sustain. Muradin is going down the same lane. So now you have Abathur with a Carapace build focusing a bit more on Genji and on Greymane. So definitely something that can work out for them here. And I'm hyped.
You know Shad's happy. He loves playing weird stuff when he gets a chance, and Abathur is kind of the weirdest you can go when it comes to support, so pretty exciting for that. Looking into the map here...
I would say Lily is worse.
Yeah, Lily's great, man.
Abathur is a much better support.
I don't know why you hate pandas and dragons. Like, it's the best combination ever created.
I'll give you Lily, but let's just put it out there. Abathur is a much better support, let's say, for example, Brightwing. Does everything that Brightwing does just better.
Maybe. But Brightwing's really good at polymorphing things.
By the way, when we're done with this, you have to protect me from Gilly.
Last time I got pretty messed up, man. That's all I'm saying.
She's already there, and she's definitely listening, and I'm going to be in trouble. She's probably just going to hide the coffee or something.
No coffee for Caldor?
That's a problem, right?
That is an issue. That is definitely one. Okay, so let's get ready here for game number 1. Infernal Shrine's going to have Abathur Soul support coming in here for the Zealots. And the opposing side, Leftovers, are looking to fight.
And we're ready to go. The Abathur setup with Genji as we're going in. Shad, of course, on Abathur. We have Quackniix for the first time with his setup on Genji. Chris, on the other hand, playing Greymane. Robodoba finds himself at that front line as the new tank. He plays Muradin. And Zarmini, of course, on the off lane with the Haka.
On the right side, in the red, Boss to play Blaze, Blackidney on Maiev, Mopsio on Diablo, Linked on Deckard, and DAB to play Phoenix.
This is going to be a fun game for sure. So we have the Abathur solo support set up, but that's not the only thing here. We have Abathur as a potential combo for Dehaka, for like every single hero on the Zealots lineup is a fantastic symbiote target for Abathur, and we have also great clone targets as well. So this is really a setup where no matter where you are on the map, no matter which hero leftovers are facing off against, any one of these is a fantastic symbiote target and can just absolutely go hammer with the symbiote later on. So this is definitely frightening from an aggression perspective.
What the Leftovers will want to do is try to avoid any small scrims that are happening, because they definitely will favor Zealots in that regard, especially with Abathur coming in for those hats. So you're seeing them pair up a little bit. In fact, Boss and Blackidney ran together on this top lane, and they're going to have to too, with this 3-man push in the top lane going straight for the turrets and Abathur just soaking passively at the bottom. Zealots are actually pretty well equipped to deal with anything that's coming in their way. That's Chris in the bottom lane. As Greymane, gonna have that clear, but also a pretty decent escape when he goes in that Worgen form, so it's gonna be kind of hard to lock him down.
Yeah. One of the biggest changes coming into Phase 2 of 2018 were definitely the lineup changes for the Zealots here. Quackniix, the former captain of Fnatic, now with a setup. ADRD on the other hand, moving away. And also the entire shot calling, the entire drafting has definitely changed. And this is a team that has said from the start, we feel strong, we feel good, but at the same time, we still think we need a little bit more time to make sure that everyone is on the same page here. It was a huge change in playstyle for them and also in drafting in particular. So now the big question is, how are the Zealots going to perform with Quackniix at the front line for them?
So far, they are bringing the aggression towards the Leftovers, jumping on top of DAB. He'll be able to teleport out, but that allows Zealots to immediately move in and grab the mercenary camp, knowing that they have the bottom lane. However, Mopsio does not want to allow that to happen. He steps forward, reveals where exactly Zealots are, and with an Abathur hat, Zealots may have to fight against this.
Yeah, but there's still the Haka who could burrow in, but he doesn't feel the need to. Now keep in mind that the big story of Phase 1 was how the Leftovers continuously improved throughout the entirety of those few months. And so it was incredibly awesome to see them really do extremely well towards the later stage. Now on the other hand, they have from the get-go to really perform to make sure that they this time don't find themselves in a crucible spot and to see if they can even maybe contest one of these offline spots. And for that, they would really do well with an early win in the series here, but the Zealots, of course, are going to have very different plans for them.
They had so many heartbreaking losses in
Yeah.
the last phase. I remember there were so many moments where we were actually cheering for the Leftovers because they had pushed themselves so much, and yet they were unable to get as many wins as they would like. A fresh start for them is definitely something that can help them out, and so far they're holding on pretty well here against the Zealots. Starting up the Merc camp, and with our first shrine activating, we'll see if we'll have a brawl breakout for them. For the Zealots, they actually wouldn't mind giving this up, actually. Again, with an out of their hat, it's totally okay to soak the side lanes and make sure to defend when the Punisher comes forward and pushes, and you're just fine, and usually ahead in experience.
And they also got the global, so they can really try and get some extra experience on the side lanes if Leftovers commit to a 5-man attack on the objective. But especially, for me personally, the Zealots are a bit my dark horse when it comes to HGC now, because I'm not quite sure what to expect from them. They have definitely the material to do extremely well, but it depends a lot on how they grow together as a unit. And if that doesn't happen, then they could really have a very, very bad Phase 2 in 2018 here. But so far, they are starting with an aggressive draft here. The Haka comes in, goes for the jack, but doesn't hit it against Mopsio, and now all of a sudden the dinosaur's in trouble.
Zarmi trying to stay alive, getting flipped over. Will burrow just in time to stay alive, waiting for Abathur to give those hats. The hats is here, but he won't be able to get enough healing. Oh my gosh, he actually makes it to the fog. Can he get out with the movement speed? Finally, he gets picked off. But Zealots, meanwhile, were able to grab a nice little lead. 27-26, though, as Leftovers start to tie it up in control of the minions.
Shad jumped away with a symbiote and was hoping to apply another shield onto the target, but that didn't really work out. And with that quick kill, the Leftovers have now taken the lead in experience just by the smallest of margins, but they also grabbed the Arcane Punisher, and that should at least allow them to grab this wall, those two turrets, and that of course is going to propel them forward in experience.
Quackniix comes over, baits over the Punisher. We'll be able to start burning that down, while the rest of Leftovers will focus on taking down the turrets, which is typically what you want to do on the first Punisher push, and they should be able to grab that. They're starting to group up a little bit, though. I'm looking at my Ev here. What can he try to force a fight when this gate goes down? I don't think so. Even with the minions being here, it would be a little bit too difficult.
Half HP down on the fort itself, though. Yeah, Quackniix moves out, and here comes the immediate aggression as with Robodoba jumping in, and Quackniix together with him, but they can't confirm a kill here. Still a little bit in the lead in experience for the Leftovers. Didn't quite get as much as I thought they would out of the first Punisher. There's still one tower down there, but the extra damage against the fort itself should make it a bit easier later on to go through that and grab the structure.
Meanwhile, for the Zealots, hanging in there in experience, sure, a little bit behind, but something that you kind of expect when you're running it out of their composition, especially in the early game. You're just trying to make sure they're equal when it comes to that level 10. It's when you get your power spike, you're able to grab that ultimate evolution and force a fight as you want. And when we come to the ultimate evolution clones, gosh, they can go anything. If they want to go full dive here, they can go straight into Genji, just try and jump on a backlane target in terms of Phoenix. They can grab Greymane too if they want to try and make a play for infrastructure. So many options available for the Zealots when it actually comes to trying to earn a victory on the map.
Diablo also with a bit of a different build than we usually see. Mopsio currently on level 4 going for the Sacrificial Soul first of all, and then on level 7 going into Malevolence. So normally we see a lot more of the Firestorm being used here. It has been a very dominant build in most of the cases. This is a bit more of an adjustment that we're seeing from them. And also in Greymane we're now seeing on level 7 the Wizened Duelist, so trying to go for the extra damage here as a setup later on. And that, of course, is going to make it very important for him to try and stay as safe as possible.
Yeah, the extra damage, too, coming in from Diablo should be able to help them try and kill a target before Abathur's able to jump around and provide those hats, which what you normally do with the Carapace build. You just jump on a target, drop down the E, and then immediately try to jump around, get a little bit of soak, wait for your summon to come back up, and grab a little bit more healing coming in. And if Leftovers are able to find a kill thanks to that extra damage on level 7 from Diablo and the combined efforts of Maiev and Phoenix, they'll prevent that from happening. Mopsio gets dragged here in the middle, but with 10's hitting, Zealots can play a little bit careful. Make sure not to get caught out too much as they soak 10 for themselves.
I mean, they definitely have a couple of layers that they can use on a defensive position, the bunker being one of them, but then you also have the heals through Deckard. So Mopsio not really being interested in as much self-sustain as you would usually see on the Diablo setup. And as he said, looking a bit more for the damage output here with the Malevolence in particular. But the Fire Breath coming out now. So there's definitely a couple of tools that they now have that they can use in these fights. And we know Mopsio to be a very aggressive tank player, so that fits his style.
Containment Disc coming out for Maiev. Attempting to disrupt any of the divers that are coming their way. Can't forget, when you have Ultimate Evolution coming in, you'll have 3 backliners trying to dive at target. If you can grab one of them, of course, you cut away 33% of the 3 heroes trying to drop towards you, so we'll watch Leftovers attempt to land that. But like Hitney will have to make sure to grab Greymane or Genji as soon as he can.
Now, we already had Isolation blown there. It didn't really give them a lot, so that's a cooldown that won't be available for the majority of the Shrine phase towards the top of the map. In experience, the Zealots are looking strong, and we have now on 10 Greymane also going into the Cursed Bullet, so that's going to threaten Diablo on the front line in particular. There's a lot of tools for Leftovers to really deal with this. Stay While, Listen, Bunker, Containment Disc. There's a lot of stuff that really helps to just stop the aggression coming from Zealots when they are going on a target.
Cursed Bullet comes down, they focus Mopsio, he takes some damage, to Stay a While, Listen pops out too. That's the salvo. Chris is actually really low. Containment Disc to lock him down means that Leftovers can try and pick him off. The Lightning Breaks comes out and they toast the Greymane.
Chris is down, the attempted kill against DAB. The Genji copy is still active, but the bunker is just negating all of this. And that's exactly what we just highlighted. It's a perfect example of the tools that the Leftovers have to stop the aggression. We see the move onto Diablo. Immediately Greymane and Genji are starting to jump in, and Leftovers, they drop the bunker, they go still for the zone control for Deck Arcane. We have Containment Disc coming out, the Salvo moving in, and that results in a kill against Greymane and the Leftovers taking full control over the second Shrine and therefore about to claim another Punisher for themselves. 2
Punishers in a row, and they'll be looking to grab that fort in the top left, and if they get it, they'll easily get level 13. Zealot's trying to grab a Constellation Prize. They'll take away the siege camp here in the middle, and even set up a trap here for Potibus. Potibus feels like something is happening though, plays a safe play, drops down the jet stream, and is able to see that his opponents are down in the bottom right, which gives Leftovers the time to push freely in the top lane.
They're definitely going to get the fort. The thing is that down here we are going to see Leftovers with a lot of aggression now as well. Shed is already very far out on the map, can body soak if need be, but the Haka has of course still the global aspect to himself, so he can start to pressure that fort. And so far, it's a trade, or it's going to be a trade in structures. The question simply remains, how much is Leftovers going to get up here at the top with their talent advantage that they have?
Well, the Punisher jumping in on the sidewall kicked off. Leftovers can play aggressive. They're opening up the gate as well. The jump will be up in a few seconds here if they want to play off of that, but so far they just play it safe. They get the fort, grab the keep wall, and back away. Robodoba thinking about maybe forcing to engage here, but with no one really presenting himself as a target, won't be able to get that fight. Mopsio mounts up and gets out. His Leftovers are looking pretty darn good as they continue to control the map.
Somebody has actually not pushed down the fort at the bot lane. He headed back a little bit faster, so he has the global still available. We have Soma Transference now ready for Abathar, so that's going to be incredibly powerful for actually any hero that is going to get the symbiote, but especially Muradin, it more or less becomes unkillable if he plays his cards right and doesn't get stunned out. So this is going to become a little bit rougher for Leftovers to deal with now that we have 13 talents in the hands of the Zealots. Interesting part is also that we have 0 kills for the Zealots. Wizened Duelist hasn't seen any value just yet on Greymane.
All we need is a couple kills though, and that will start to climb. Leftovers, this is a very similar situation that we saw them consistently in the last phase of HGC. Always staying close to their opponents in experience, even getting to a point where they had leads occasionally, but they never had a chance to actually close out the game. So we'll see if they can do this here.
One of the quotes that I still remember was that back then when they had a 1.5 level lead and they lost the game in the end, they said later on, well, we don't really know how to deal when we are in an advantageous position.
This wasn't comfortable for us.
This doesn't happen usually. We're normally behind and then try to come back into the game. Talking about being in a bit of an awkward spot, that's exactly what happens to Zarmany here on Haka. Bunker is being dropped and down goes Zarmany. As he's taken down, Containment Disc is putting Robodoba also out of business in that fight, and a copy of Shat is a bit late. That's not going to give them a lot of value here.
No. Absolutely 0 chance there for Zealots to get a kill. They try to jump on DAB. The moment that happens, though, he just teleports away, and Leftovers find another kill in the game. They are up 3-0 over their opponent. They've had 2 Punishers, and they're about to hit level 16. They're actually shutting down this composition. from the Zealots.
Leftovers, they continue the trend from phase 1 in 2018, where they continuously improve up to where they started to contest and take matches from opponents. And they're currently in the lead against the Zealots, who of course play with a new shot caller and drafter, which might be a bit of a problem, or which might take a bit more adjustment from their part. But so far, 3 kills to 0, level 16 advantage against level 15, so a talent lead as well. And this is starting to become a little bit problematic for the Zealots, since they are really struggling to find kill potential here against Bunker, against Stay a While and Listen, and the Containment Disc.
Still behind, but almost about to hit 16. Only a full level behind their opponents, which they should be able to soak up, especially in that bottom wave. They got a wave and a half about to be grouped up here pretty soon, which averages should be able to soak up, so that'll give them that 16. With the Shrine activating in about 12 seconds, they need to make a decision here. Do they want to make a play for a kill, or maybe look towards grabbing it, open up, and keep wall? Thing is their options are going to start getting limited pretty darn soon. This next Punisher should be able to get a 4 if Leftovers get it, and then even a keep wall, which means after that, we're going to start getting to a point where Leftovers can start to open up the map more.
Yeah, and now we have 16 versus 16, and this is really an opportunity that you can use now. We have the Adrenaline boost taken for Abathur, so that's another speed advantage, and Alpha Killer. And once that we are getting some stacks on Greymane for the Zealots, they can really start to threaten Diablo a lot more. We even have the Dwarf Lunge now taken on Murden's side instead of him going for Stone Form, which would be a bit more advantageous when it comes to just sheer sustain. Greymane, by the way, has aggressively pushed out the bot lane, and since he is so good at racing structures, could have taken some of these towers down, which forced Maiev to retreat and deal with him.
Maiev is there with the hat. Greymane should be able to poke on back. Zealots take the opportunity to jump in and put some damage on Mopsio. Stun comes out on top of Genji, and Genji actually just gets completely taken out. Mopsio says, okay, throws him against the wall. Shad the Clone also destroyed. Zealots had 0 chances there to actually get a kill. Mopsio just way too tanky.
Yeah, Genji just face-checking the bush there and immediately getting hammered into the ground, flipped over. And at that point, you already see the salvo coming out, and the deflect was used by Genji a bit too early to dodge that. He was just in a really awkward spot there. And that's Punisher number 3 in a row for the Leftovers. 4 kills against 0. Even the Greymane pressure in the bot lane didn't do too much, though Abathur helped out and made sure that Maiev couldn't get too nasty there. But now all of a sudden we're having a big 5-man push coming through the mid lane. Punisher jumps in and the Leftovers are out for blood.
Well, Chris is back here, and he still has that Cursed Bullet, so he can help hold that front line. Cursed Bullet comes out, Stay a While and Listen connects. Zarmin's low on health trying to retreat here, getting poked down heavily by Phoenix. DAB easily cleaned that up. Next will be the keep here too, as Quackniix even pops the Dragon Blade, trying to help his teammates who are getting locked down. The Leftovers are running over the Zealots.
And Diablo is just murdering people at this point, controlling them so well. One shadow charge after another, just hitting home here, and especially now also completing the devastating charge on level 13. 4 stacks, but we might not even see that completed because the Leftovers, they're just done with this game. They're going for it, and they're dropping the core.
This is something that they didn't do well last phase, and they are doing it well now. They go straight for the core, and they get a victory. They earn a lead. They get multiple kills, 7-0, almost near level 20. Multiple Punishers. The Leftovers have found their end game. Finally.
Yeah, they definitely have. Looking strong here.